There's a snowstorm right now and it is absolutely beautiful outside, and I wanted to walk you around the property here, Kent Falls Brewing Company, at night in the snow, and I figured that would be fun and we could take a little journey together. We'll stop in at the brewery, we can see the tasting room, and yeah, we'll go for a tour. So I'm gonna flip the camera around so I don't have to worry about showing my face as much on the YouTube, and because it makes me feel uncomfortable. And yeah, I'll take you for a little tour. All right, this is the back parking lot area. We got one light out here, and you can see the light falls away really quickly into pitch blackness. And so we use very directional lighting here, pointed in very specific areas, mainly where people gotta walk or work, but they're pointed down and right past the buildings. It's just pitch black, which is fun because then you walk out in the field, and on a night when it's not snowing, you get to see all the stars. And even with the lights on in the brewery, I have lots of photos that I've shared through the years of how beautiful the night sky is here. And so then walking through the main part of the property, it's just beautiful, it's quiet. All I hear is my boots crunching, a little bit of hum of utilities, and snow. We got our grass-fed dumpsters, barrel barn, which that is employees only, but that's where we barrel age the beers. And then out here, we can look into the window. Oh man, it's a sight in there. I think we go in. My hesitation is that my feet look like this, and they work really hard to keep the floors clean in there, so I don't want to be the jerk. But I could use the excuse because everyone in the brewery loves the dog. So if they happen to watch this video and they see that I left snowy footprints in the brewery, it was for this guy to warm up his toes. Want to go in the back door, Mr. Dog? Ooh, and then the glasses fog right up. This is our canning room. When this is all set up, the cans go up here, down the slide, get filled with beer, get labels put on them, and then get packaged. But this is not a how-to beer video. We're just going on a quick tour. That's a piece of the old barn. There used to be a little loft area for storage, and when we were rebuilding the barn, I kept the door and painted our logo on it. And I'm sure there's video of me doing it somewhere. But now we got our logo on the wall. Or it's been there for years, but whatever. I'm not going to turn any extra lights on. My boots are actually pretty clean. Boom. Let's see if I go. No, it doesn't. I was hoping that I could change the angle, make it a little wider. Here, maybe I'll stop the camera, then I'll stitch all these videos together. It's more work, but it's worth it. All right, boom. So now that we're inside the brewery with the wide angle lens, Mr. Zip pretty much, I was just about to say, Mr. Zip grew up here, so he knows not to lick anything on the floor or drink anything out of the buckets. And then I turn around, hey. I think they pulled a late shift tonight. Floors are still drying out. Oh, I wanted to capture that on camera because I was taking us around on a tour. It is 8 o'clock. It just turned 8 o'clock. And 90%, oh, there goes the rest of them. At 8 o'clock, all the lights are, yeah, we did catch it, are on automated timers so that the lights don't stay on too late for the neighbors. Even if there's people working here, generally we'll turn the lights off and get the job done. Inside, where it's warm and cozy. All right, so now Mr. Warm Toes. Oh, I forgot to turn the light off. Mr. Warm Toes over there Looks very comfortable out in the snow. All the locks are automated too. And then we have security cameras and we have all the things. So we're gonna walk next door. And now 8 o'clock at night. It's pitch black. You can see lights from neighbors in the distance. And then I had come over here earlier and unlocked the door to make it easier for the camera. All right, so now we're out of the pitch black. I came in and unlocked the door and turned the light on. I'm on my walking stick outside. So welcome to Kent Falls Brewing Company. These are on the wall next to the sign are placards, whatever we want to call them, of beer labels. And we used to, on this wheel, I would cut these out on a Cricut with my computer, the CRICUT crafty machine, and they're vinyl. And so we would design them. I would Cricut and pick all those little letters. And this is the exact size of the bottom of a 5-gallon bucket. So it's always consistent. This is the spool from when we built the property and ran the utilities up from the road. And then this sign was our farmer's market sign when we were selling at the farmer's market down in New Milford. In Southbury and Westchester. And so we got some backstory. This is a project I'm working on, telling our story where we source all of our ingredients, 60% of the ingredients within 50 miles, 93% of the ingredients in 200 miles from these fine people. This is in Connecticut, where you can absolutely grow grain, a lot of it, right in the middle there. There's an idiot, and there's us building the brewery. And then in here, we have a dog. All right, Mr. Dog, it's time to say goodbye. And then we're gonna walk home. When I get outside, usually there's ambient lighting, and you've seen it all fun and good, but here's the wide angle of the tasting room when it's not lit properly. Should we light it well, let's light it properly. I mean, this is a video for my family who hasn't been here in a while, so let's fully embrace it. Ding, 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 ding. I know, we gotta turn the big ugly light on. We got this room. You walk in, say hello. Again, not everything's set up. You see the sign and you're like, oh, Kent Falls, all these fun beers. And then you walk through the door and you're like, oh man, neat. And so, pull my gloves off, make this easier to hold the camera. Farm Fresh Flights. We've been doing an awesome job with the menu. Got our big mural that the label artist, Dan, is a good friend of the brewery, has been a talented part of putting it all together. Every can of beer and bottle that you've seen over the years, Dan did the design. And so he made this mural that we painted, and that mural, us painting it, is right there. And you see the bar here. Well, that's what it used to look like. So this is where the bar is, and this is where there's a water cooler. Sorry to spin so fast, right there. And that's what it looked like inside. So I cleaned it and then built the bar, did the painting, everybody pitched in, yada yada. You know, there's an exact specific color that you use for painting handicap spots. And then we come in here, and these tables on the barrels are now in bottles. And then these tables, we had a greenhouse that failed and just got wrecked in a storm, and I had just replaced the edge of the greenhouse with pressure treated wood. So when my heart was broken and I lost I was like 96 foot by 30 foot greenhouse. It was awesome. Absolutely destroyed in a snowstorm, and it was just like we couldn't justify the expense of putting it back. It was one of those things that made sense once and we got a lot of use out of it, but once it was destroyed we couldn't justify building it again. So I took the bottom of my greenhouse apart and turned it into these tables, and that's their width and, you know, their shape and that size is to maximize the number of board feet that I could get out of the size that I had when I dismantled the greenhouse. This tin we got from a guy in upstate New York, reclaimed from an old barn. These boards repurposed from something that we did over the years. And then the bar top, which I really should refinish and shine up because it's seen some wear and tear now. Which I'll have to figure out how to do that successfully, because you can see what it used to look like around the edges. The bar top was made out of siding that we pulled off the barn when it looked all full of nonsense, which I showed you that picture, and we redid the walls and pretty much rebuilt the entire structure in place. And so the ceiling is spray foam insulation, and it's open cell because it was cheaper than closed cell because we couldn't afford the closed cell. If we did the closed cell, we could have had a ceiling or something, but because it was born out of necessity, we just jokingly said that it's the foam on top of the beer, and people just kind of are okay with it. And then all these flowers come from a local flower farm, Anderson Acres, around the corner. And there's more sheets of this tin because we bought a whole pallet of it, and decided we would do whatever we could with the tin because it was cheap, because it looks like this. But the patina was nice, and here we are. He's like, you're talking to the video camera again, and I don't fully understand what that is. Can we go, please? And then because it was a cattle barn, there used to be a trench in the floor. And that trench in the floor would collect the manure, because the cow stands about yay high, right? And so the original colors inside here were dark gray on the bottom to hide the cow manure, and white to make it look like you make it not feel like you work in a dungeon. And white paint is cheaper. And so we replicated the paint, and that's easy to like fix scuffs and people leaning against the wall and stuff. So it's like practical as well. Could use a chair rail or something, but here we are. And we hung up all these sheets. Like, I did all the plywood, I hung all the walls, and you won't be able to tell on this camera, but this wall is about a foot shorter over the entire length than this wall. And that's not just the perspective of the phone. They're actually, like, all these sheets of plywood, you can kind of see it on a smaller scale, are a different size. So everything was a custom cut to get it to fit in there. Also fun. Same thing on the other side. We used to have a different fridge behind here, and that's why it's gray. It kind of still works and makes it look like the behind the bar area. But there used to be a different setup, and we made the tile different colors to that setup, and now that's why that looks like that. This beam used to be the hurricane tie. Now it's a steel hurricane tie, so it's modern and whatever. But was a beam that was helping hold up the barn. And I kept the beam, and I hung the ropes. I climbed up in the rafters, and I did this entire thing unassisted, which now that I'm 40 is terrifying. to think about, because I got on the top of A-frame ladder. I put some ropes down here, threw the ropes over the top while standing on the bar, climbed up on the ladder, got up in the rafters, pulled the one end up and did it halfway, or did like an enough knot, and then pulled the other one to the height that I wanted it, did the forever knot, and then I pushed down on it to make the rope settle, and then I tightened this one up, and then we wired it up for the bar. All these clever things that people do in their late 20s. Oh man. There's the water cooler I was talking about. Very exciting. So I think that's the end of our tour for now, because this video is long enough, but I can revisit any of these rooms by request if you guys want more stories. But that was a fun 10 minutes, 20 minutes going back in time with Mr. Zip. Say see you later. Take care of yourself. If you can, someone else too.